My beloved one, listen carefully, because what you are about to hear is not random, not emotional imagination, and not something meant for everyone. This message is finding you at a precise moment, when your heart has been quietly asking a question you never fully spoke out loud. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. God says, I have been watching your silence. You smile in front of people, you continue your routine, you carry responsibility like armor, but deep inside there has been a missing presence. Not loneliness in the simple sense, but the absence of one specific soul connection. You have felt it in moments when your heart suddenly feels heavy for no clear reason. You have felt it when a name almost reaches your lips but stops just before being spoken. Stay till the end, because this is where everything begins to make sense. God says, I did not create you to walk this part of your journey alone. There is a person whose path has been moving closer to yours, quietly, deliberately, guided by timing rather than coincidence. You may think you chose your steps freely, but heaven has been aligning moments behind the scenes. The conversations that almost happened, the meetings that were delayed, the sudden memories that appeared without warning, none of it was accidental. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. This person has already felt your presence, even if they could not explain it. They have sensed a pull, a curiosity, a familiarity that feels older than time. Sometimes they think of you and do not understand why their heart softens in that moment. Sometimes they pause and wonder why your energy feels safe, even from a distance. God says, I placed your name in their spirit before your voice ever reached their ears. You may have tried to move on. You may have told yourself that timing was wrong, that circumstances were complicated, that maybe it was better not to hope. But God says, what I have written cannot be erased by fear or impatience. The delay was not denial. The pause was preparation. Stay till the end, because the reason for the waiting is about to be revealed. Now listen closely, because this is where many hearts begin to race. God says, the name will shock you, not because it is unfamiliar, but because it has already crossed your path in a meaningful way. This is not a stranger pulled from nowhere. This is someone whose presence has already stirred something inside you, someone you dismissed too quickly, doubted too quietly, or never thought would be part of your future. Don't skip. This moment is important. The shock comes from realization, from understanding that the connection you felt was real, from seeing that the bond was not imagination, not weakness, not coincidence. God says, I allowed you to see them before you were ready, so you would recognize them when the time came. That is why the feeling never fully disappeared. That is why their name returns to you when you least expect it. This person carries a role in your life that goes beyond comfort. They are meant to strengthen you, not distract you. To grow with you, not drain you. To walk beside you, not ahead of you or behind you. God says, together, your purpose expands. This connection is not about filling emptiness, but about multiplying what already exists within you. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. You may wonder why it feels intense, why it feels deeper than logic. God says, I knit this connection with intention. That is why your spirit responds before your mind catches up. That is why you feel calm and unsettled at the same time. Growth often feels like that just before it arrives. Do not rush to label it. Do not rush to explain it to others. This is a moment for awareness, not action. God says, I am opening your eyes first. When the time comes to move, it will feel natural, clear, and aligned, not forced, not confusing. Don't skip. Stay with this message. There is something else you need to hear. This person has been praying too, even if their words were different from yours. They asked for clarity. They asked for peace. They asked for someone who truly sees them. God says, your paths are answering each other's prayers. That is why resistance has not worked. That is why distance has not erased the pull. As this message reaches its final moments, let this truth settle into your heart. God says, trust what is unfolding. You are not late. You are not mistaken. You are exactly where you need to be for what is coming next. Stay till the end, because the greatest shift is not loud, it is gentle, certain, and unforgettable. Don't skip what comes next in your life. Something huge is waiting for you, and now, you will recognize it when it arrives. Listen closely, because this part is where clarity begins to replace confusion, and where what felt uncertain starts to feel undeniable. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and this is not the moment to look away. God says, I see the questions forming in your heart. You are wondering why this connection feels different from anything you have known before. Why it does not fade with time. Why even when you try to focus on other things, your thoughts circle back to the same presence. This is not obsession. This is recognition. Stay with me, because understanding this will change how you see everything. God says, not every connection is meant to be intense, but the ones I designed for purpose always are. This person was not sent to entertain you or distract you. They were sent to awaken parts of you that had been waiting quietly. That is why the energy feels serious. That is why it feels meaningful even in silence. Don't skip. This is important. You may have noticed that life has been reshaping you recently. Your priorities have shifted. Your tolerance for shallow connections has disappeared. Your heart wants depth, truth, and stability now. God says, I prepared you first, because alignment requires readiness. The timing is not accidental. It is precise. This person carries something familiar to your spirit. Their presence feels grounding, not chaotic. When you imagine them in your future, there is peace mixed with anticipation, not fear. God says, peace is how I confirm what is real. Stay till the end, because this confirmation is still unfolding. You might think, why now? God says, because now you are strong enough to recognize value without chasing it. In the past, you may have settled, rushed, or doubted your worth. That season is over. This connection arrives when you no longer need to prove anything, only to receive what aligns. There is something powerful happening beneath the surface. Conversations you have not had yet are already forming. Paths that seemed separate are quietly converging. God says, I am arranging moments you cannot see yet. Do not underestimate what is being prepared while you wait. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. This person is not perfect, and neither are you, but there is harmony in how your imperfections meet. You balance what the other carries. You strengthen where the other feels uncertain. God says, together, you will grow in ways you could not alone. This is partnership, not dependency. As you listen to this, notice what your heart is doing. If it feels calm, if it feels steady, if it feels seen, that is not coincidence. God says, your spirit recognizes truth before your mind explains it. Trust that response. Stay till the end. This part of the message is not asking you to act, rush, or force anything. It is inviting you to become aware. Awareness changes how you move. Awareness keeps you from missing what matters. God says, when the moment comes, you will know. And when you know, there will be no confusion, only quiet certainty. Don't skip what comes next, because the next part will reveal why this connection survived distance, silence, and time. Something huge is waiting for you, and you are closer than you think. Listen carefully and do not let your attention drift, because this is the turning point where clarity replaces confusion. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. God says, you have been sensing a shift, and it is real. There has been a quiet stirring inside you, a feeling that something is aligning even though nothing around you looks different yet. This is the stage where most people doubt themselves, but you were not meant to look away now. Stay tuned, because what is unfolding next carries meaning that will stay with you for a lifetime. There is a reason certain thoughts keep returning to you. There is a reason one specific presence feels heavier than all others combined. God says, when I prepare a divine connection, I awaken the heart before the circumstances. That is why logic has not been able to silence this pull. That is why distraction has failed. Your spirit recognizes what your mind is still learning to accept. You may have asked yourself why this connection feels unfinished, why it never settled into the past. God says, because it was never meant to end before it began. This was a pause, not a conclusion. A refinement, not a rejection. Don't skip, because understanding this will change how you see everything that came before. This person carries a mirror into your life. Not to expose weakness, but to reflect growth. When you think of them, you are not thinking of escape, you are thinking of expansion. God says, I bring people together when they are ready to walk forward, not backward. That is why this moment is arriving now, not earlier. There is also healing here. Quiet healing. The kind that does not announce itself but settles gently into your soul. God says, through this connection, I restore parts of you that were tired of being strong alone. You were never meant to carry everything by yourself, and you do not have to anymore. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Notice how calm enters your chest as you listen. Notice how resistance softens. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. God says, when something is right, peace will speak before certainty arrives. Let that peace guide you instead of fear. You do not need to chase this. You do not need to force timing. God says, what is meant for you moves toward you naturally. Your role right now is awareness, presence, trust. The next step will reveal itself without pressure, without confusion. As this message settles into you, let one truth remain clear. You are not imagining this. You are not late. You are not mistaken. Don't skip what comes next in your journey. Stay till the end of this season, because something huge is waiting for you, and it will arrive in a way you will never forget. My beloved listener, lean in for this moment, because what unfolds here is where clarity replaces confusion and certainty begins to rise quietly inside you. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, and this part carries the key that many people miss. God says, I have already removed the noise around this connection. That is why lately you feel less distracted, less influenced by other opinions, less pulled by things that once confused you. This calm is not emptiness. It is focus. It is the stillness before alignment. The reason you are able to hear this message clearly right now is because your spirit has been prepared to recognize truth without fear. There was a time when you questioned yourself. You wondered whether the feeling was real or just imagination. You told yourself to be practical, to be guarded, to not expect too much. But God says, what I planted in your heart did not come from emotion alone. This connection has survived distance, silence, hesitation, and time because it was never dependent on constant contact. It was built on purpose. Stay with me. Do not scroll away. Something huge is waiting for you right here. God says, this person sees you differently than anyone else ever has. They notice the parts of you that others overlook. Your pauses, your restraint, your quiet strength. Where others see normal, they see depth. Where others listen to respond, they listen to understand. That is why your presence lingers in their mind long after moments end. You may not realize it, but you have already influenced their growth. Your existence alone shifted how they think about relationships, trust, and future choices. God says, even without trying, you became a mirror for them. That is rare. That is intentional. Now listen closely, because this is important for what comes next. God says, the next step will feel simple, not dramatic. Many people expect destiny to arrive with chaos or emotional storms, but this one arrives with peace, with clarity, with a quiet confidence that feels like recognition rather than surprise. Don't skip. Stay till the end. There will be a moment when the name becomes clear, not forced, not announced loudly. It will surface naturally, through conversation, memory, or realization. And when it does, your heart will not panic. It will settle. God says, that calm is your confirmation. This connection is not meant to distract you from your purpose. It is meant to support it, to walk beside you, not compete with you, to grow with you, not slow you down. That is why timing mattered so much. God says, I waited until you were strong enough to recognize alignment instead of attachment. Something huge is waiting for you if you stay present in this season. Do not rush. Do not compare. Do not doubt what feels steady and true. The right connection does not drain you. It sharpens you. As this moment closes, let this truth stay with you. God says, what is meant for you is already moving toward you. You do not have to chase it. You only have to remain open, aware, and patient. Don't skip what happens next. Stay till the end of this journey. Something huge is waiting for you, and now, you are ready to receive it. Listen with your heart right now, because this moment is not meant to be rushed, and it is not meant to be skipped. Stay tuned. Something huge is waiting for you, and what unfolds here will change how you understand everything that came before this point. God says, there was a season when you questioned your own instincts. You felt something strongly, then immediately tried to silence it. You told yourself to be practical, to be careful, to not read too deeply into signs that felt too meaningful to ignore. But God says, I allowed that inner conflict for a reason. The confusion was not weakness. It was preparation. It was your spirit learning to recognize truth even when logic tried to interrupt it. Don't skip, because this understanding unlocks the next door. There is a bond that does not announce itself loudly. It does not demand attention or create chaos. Instead, it sits quietly in your awareness, returning again and again, no matter how much time passes. God says, that is how divine alignment feels. It does not fade with distraction. It does not disappear with distance. It waits patiently until you are ready to see it clearly. Stay till the end, because clarity is arriving now. You may have noticed how certain thoughts surface at unexpected times. A name, a face, a feeling that carries both comfort and intensity. God says, that is not coincidence. That is recognition. Your spirit knows before your mind is willing to accept. This is why ignoring it has never brought peace. This is why moving away from it has never felt complete. Something huge is waiting for you in this realization. God says, this connection was never meant to rush you. It was meant to anchor you. While others came and went, this presence remained quietly significant. Even when nothing was happening on the surface, something was aligning underneath. Conversations that never happened still carried meaning. Silence still held connection. God says, what I join does not depend on constant interaction to remain alive. Now hear this carefully. The strength of this bond is not based on emotion alone. It is based on growth. God says, this person reflects a version of you that you are becoming. That is why the connection feels both familiar and challenging. It pulls you forward. It invites you to rise. It does not let you stay small. Don't skip. This truth matters more than you realize. You are not being asked to chase. You are not being asked to force anything. God says, stillness is part of alignment. What is meant for you moves toward you naturally when the timing is right. That timing is not measured by impatience, but by readiness. And right now, your heart is more ready than it has ever been. Stay till the end, because here is what seals this moment. God says, trust the recognition. When the moment comes, when the name is spoken, when the connection steps forward into clarity, you will not need convincing. Peace will confirm it. Calm will surround it. Confidence will replace doubt. Something huge is waiting for you, and it will feel unmistakably right. Do not skip what unfolds next in your life. This chapter is being written with intention, and you are finally ready to read it without fear. Stay with me. Do not scroll. Do not let your attention drift, because this part is where clarity begins to settle into your spirit in a way you will remember for a lifetime. Something huge is waiting for you, and it is unfolding right now. God says, you have reached the stage where truth becomes calm instead of confusing. Earlier, your heart felt restless. You questioned signs. You replayed moments. You wondered why certain thoughts returned when you least expected them. But now, something is different. There is a quiet certainty growing inside you, and that certainty is not coming from emotion alone. It is alignment. Stay till the end, because this is where alignment becomes undeniable. God says, I am not rushing you, and I am not testing you. The delay you experienced was never punishment. It was refinement. You were learning how to listen without fear, how to feel without panic, how to recognize depth without running away from it. That is why this connection no longer feels chaotic. It feels steady. It feels mature. It feels like something you can finally trust. Don't skip. This understanding changes everything. The person connected to this message is not arriving to complete you. God says, you are already whole. They are arriving to walk with you in a season where your strength and their strength meet. That is why this bond feels different from past experiences. There is no urge to prove, no urge to chase, no urge to impress, just recognition, just peace, just a sense of, this fits. Stay with me. This part matters. God says, when I choose alignment, I remove confusion first. That is why your mind feels clearer now. That is why doubts that once screamed now whisper, if they appear at all. You are beginning to see this connection not as a fantasy, but as a calling to grow, to build, to understand love in a deeper and more grounded way. Something huge is waiting for you, and it begins with this clarity. This person may not say much yet. They may observe. They may hesitate. But God says, their heart has already moved. What you are sensing is not imagination. It is response. A response to timing finally syncing. A response to readiness finally meeting opportunity. Don't skip. This realization is powerful. You are also changing. God says, I strengthened you so you would not lose yourself in what I am bringing. That is why you are calmer now. Why you can listen without anxiety. Why you can wait without fear. This connection will not pull you away from who you are. It will reinforce it. Stay till the end, because this is the foundation that lasts. Let this sink in deeply. God says, what is meant for you will feel peaceful before it feels exciting. The excitement will come, but first comes assurance. First comes trust. First comes knowing that you are not forcing anything into existence. You are simply allowing what has already been prepared to step forward. Do not rush the next step. Do not overthink the next sign. Remain present. Remain open. Remain steady. God says, you are closer than you realize. And when the moment arrives, you will not need to question it. You will recognize it instantly, because your spirit has already been introduced to it. Stay with this message. Stay with this truth. Something huge is waiting for you, and this part is what makes the rest of the journey unforgettable.